yourself in different real-life extreme situations. Let's imagine such a situation when you don't have any weapon and there is attack with a knife. What you are going to do?
Good deal. So if my attacker has an edged weapon, I need to keep that blade off of my body, but I also need to control that blade. Okay? Now, if I'm empty hand and I can get away, I'm going to try to do that. If I could just evade one blow and possibly get to where I can get a weapon, then that's a better way to go. But obviously, that depends on your personal abilities. If I'm with a family member, I can't run away and leave grandma there to get stabbed. And if the guy's 20 years younger than me and can outrun me, then turning to my back and running isn't really a good option. But if it's safe to do so, if I can move quickly and get to a barricade where I can stop him from coming after me, or I can quickly get to a weapon, then getting away is the ideal circumstance. But I need to get that weapon off of my body first. Okay, so it depends on the line that he's going to attack me on. If he's just wanting my money or whatever, then I'll try to give that to him and we can move on. But if he's just psychotic and he's just there to kill me, then I got to keep this blade off of my body, but again, I want to immediately control it. So one of the things I teach for law enforcement is just I often teach the control positions first, because the knife is so chaotic. I want them to be able to get a hold of that at some point. So again, empty hand versus knife. Again, if the person is just wanting my money or something like that, then I'll give them my money. It's not worth my life to try to fight against the knife. Opportunity to run, to evade one blow and get to safety, then I'll do that. But only if I can reach a barrier of some kind where I can lock myself in a car, get behind a door to keep him away from me. If I attempt to just turn around and run, and he's faster than me, now he can stab me in the back very easily, and I really haven't accomplished anything. It's easier to stab a person when you're not looking at their face. So what I want to do, I have to do a couple things. I need to keep the blade off of my body so it's not cutting me, but I also need to secure that weapon-bearing limb. I need to control it. So oftentimes for law enforcement, I teach the control positions first, because the attack can be so chaotic, they may end up getting to that control position without even knowing how they got there, which is fine. That at least gives them a reference point. And with that reference point, now they have a place in that chaos of the fight we've made a little bit understandable, because they've got to this location where they know techniques. They are now comfortable, as you could be in a fight with a knife, but they're home. They know what they can do from this position. Where when the knife's just flying around, it's total chaos and fear. Once they get to the control position, they can start taking action. So what we want to do is, it just depends on how fast the blade comes to us. If I'm just standing here talking, the guy pulls the knife out, instinct is to block. Okay, and that's not always a bad thing. So if he were just stabbing me in the stomach, I might get stabbed the first time, pumps it out for the second time, and maybe I just get an instinctive block here. Okay, and that's fine. Then you go off of that. If I had more time and I could see it coming a little bit, and we were at a greater distance, which is hard to do because of the camera here, but if he were to come in, I see it, then there's nothing wrong with blocking and hitting. I'm keeping that knife off my body. I'm impacting him so that I can follow up and start taking the attack. Sometimes we're kind of in between, where I have a suspicion something's going on here, but it just happens too fast for me to get a good strike and hit. And that's where I think having a nice big block, big barricade, can come in handy, because now I am covering a large area all at once, rather than having to try to get this block just perfect. If he were to come at an angle here toward my body, and I go down with this block and I catch it, well, that's great, and that might be how it happens, just instinct. But if I think it's coming low and it comes to my neck, I'm in trouble. Okay, now I've got stabbed in the neck because I didn't read the line right. When I put a larger barricade up with both of my arms, now I've created a larger area where I can mess up and don't get the line just perfect. So if he comes in, I want to use both arms here to jam and create a large wall there. Generally, I like to come with the arm across, so if it's his right, the knife is in his right hand, I come with my right arm. But again, it just depends on the situation. There's times where you kind of go the other way as well, and you'll still create that wall. Once I've created that barrier, that wall, I want to crash in as hard as possible and control this limb, however I end up. Sometimes I can scoop it down and away, and I can get to the outside now where I can control this with a 2-on-1. And I have a lot of options from here. I have joint wrenches. I can just wrench his arm. I can feed the back to him, stab him. I can drive to an arm bar and dive to the floor with that. There's tons of options at this point because I've gotten to this control position. But what I've done now is take this chaos of a knife swinging around and gotten to a position of, okay, I know what I can do from here. I have some options from here, and I can start taking action. And you can go into any kind of fancy stuff as it comes along after you stun him, but I need that control position first. Same concept, but I might end up on the inside. If he were to come on some line over here, whatever it is, if I can't smash this down, I may just come to the inside here and control this. And again, just setting up that secure position on his arm where he can't transfer the knife to his other hand and he can't stab me immediately. And this one, I'm just pinning his forearm here. I'm grabbing his shirt, back of his neck, and pushing his face away and controlling him. Okay, come around this way here. You can see here, I'm using my lat muscle in my back against his shoulder muscle. He's doing a side raise and I'm going to pull up. I'm in a much better position. So even with a very small person, you have good leverage here. And then I'm going to attack. Nice and simple. Attack until he's no longer a threat, or I can get away, or I can access my firearm or knife or whatever it might be. That's some of the concepts that we apply to empty hand versus the knife.
One. Move to angle 5. Angle 1 again. Angle 5. Okay. Stand here talking, come in with a thrust. This way. One. Dive straight to the ground. You come with a shot. Whatever.
Just number 5?
Yeah, 5's fine. I end up here, driving in, catch this position. Now I have a good hold here. You're just using your shoulder to lift. I'm using my lats, blast here. Okay. And I can always go to a Pudu Kapala. Let's go slow through it.
What you are going to do if there is attack with the knife from the back side?
With a a hostage type situation, again, depends on whether or not we're talking about a robbery or a hostage situation. So if my partner is around the back of me with the knife to my back and holding my shirt, maybe asking me for money, then I just want to give him the money if I can. Give him what he wants. If he wants my keys or he wants my money, I'll try that first. But if I give him what he wants and he doesn't go away, he must want something else. If he wants to take me to another location, again, that's no good. There's nothing good that can come of that. I'm better off fighting here whenever possible. So the same principles apply. I want to get the knife off of my body, but I also need to control the weapon-bearing limb. If the knife happens to be in this location, then again, I'll try to sweep down and jam that. If I can distract him in the meantime, I'll do that. I ask him a question first, that sort of thing. And as I turn and attack, I may scream in his face, something like that, to distract him. But I'm pinning this limb, and again, I'm referencing into those reference points that I already know. So I want to get to where I'm familiar. In this particular situation, I end up here again with that 2-on-1, and I can start working into the things I already know. Again, I come down and jam this across, turn into him as quickly as possible, and jam this weapon-bearing limb. I want to control it. And I'll get to those known points, those reference points that I already know. So in this case, I end up with a 2-on-1 position, and I may shift this around to get that control. If I can bend him forward, then that's what I'll do. Again, I'll attack that arm. I can let go, attack his head. If I had my firearm, I may go to that. It just depends on the situation. But I will attack now that I have that control position. Hands are up. I'll give you whatever you want. I'm talking to you. Jam down and pin the arm. Come on, walk around for me. Here, shift. Now I'm in the same as before. Shot here, drop back into you, drop straight to the ground. Whatever I need.
The attacker is holding a knife in your neck. How you're going to act?
In a hostage type of hold situation, if he has the knife around my neck for some reason, again, he'll probably be controlling me in some other way, whether it's his hand here at my shoulder, whatever. And again, if I can give him what he wants, then that's what I'll do. But if it comes to moving, to another environment, that's no good. I don't want to have to leave. I may start to leave, act like I'm cooperating, but then I'm going to take action. This is a situation where being passive, being submissive, is good. I want him to feel comfortable. I want him to know I'm going to cooperate with him. So this is natural to have your hands up, to be a good victim. This brings my hands closer to the blade, which is a good thing. And again, I'll try to talk to him. If I can tell him, hey, don't hurt me, I'll do whatever you want, then that's what I'll do. As soon as I get a chance, I want to, again, go after this hand, or in some circumstances, I may have to grab the blade, but I want to make that a last resort. I want to come to the hand here, and I want to jam this elbow over and across as far as I can. Just depends on where you get to, but I want to pin this, okay? If I pin this to my neck and I pull this down, again, I'm doing a pull-up. I'm using my lats, a very strong muscle, against his extended arm, which is weak. So when I pull this here, it's going to be very difficult for him to cut my throat. He'll have to lift my entire body. At that point, again, I can attack. And I like to teach people concepts rather than techniques. So we have tools and we have targets. His target might be his nose. Maybe I blast the headbutt back into him. The target may be the groin, if I reach down and slap him in the groin for a second. Maybe I just bite him to freak him out a bit. As soon as I can, I need to back step around. Or because I'm in this position and I'm turned, I'm going to go ahead and go this route and take him down backward over this way with a lock. But there are times when you can actually backstep depending on the situation. If he's pulling me back that way, I can step through, back step around to cut him and get into the back. So again, concepts. I need to control the weapon-bearing limb. I need to attack, and then I need to counter in some way, whether it's backstep or pull him around for a takedown on the other side. Back for a good possibility. So what I want to do is, again, talk to you, be a good victim. Reach for here and here. Slide this across. Try to cut my throat right now with the knife. Can't do it because I'm pinned here. I got this big muscle, the lat, pulling against your shoulder. Your shoulder extended is much weaker than my lat. And I'm just kind of walking through this so that they'll see if I can. Okay, holding it tight here. Get my shots back, shots back, shots back. And then two ways I can go. Facing this way. I'm actually pulling the shoulder around and take you all the way down. Or I can step out to the back and I'm bringing the shoulder up in here, attacking, pushing off, accessing. As I'm a good victim, pull, pin, and then attack, attack, attack. So we're down here and
You're good now.
boom. Good victim, pin, and now attack. Headbutt. Hit for that groin. Stomp if I can. Shift to here. Pin this. Yeah, a lift. Kick to the back of the head. Stomp. Then I can work this arm to the side. Here I'm talking. Hands back. Pin it. And attack. 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 here. Blast.
Let's imagine that the opponent is attacking you with a knife from the corner and you have bare hands. What you are going to do?
Okay, well, and a knife is often used in that way. It's often used by surprise. So sometimes we don't know we're even being stabbed. We think we might be being hit with a sharp blade. And again, that's what a knife is really good for. It's a good ambush weapon. It's the same principles though. The only issue is sometimes I may be behind the curve. Because it's a surprise, I may just go off of whatever reaction I happen to end up with, which could just be a block. Now, in the Filipino martial arts, they tell you not to block, because if my opponent blocks, he puts up a block, I can just cut that limb, okay, and that's not good. So in the Filipino martial arts, we try not to block in general, and if we do, we use that opposite hand to come across and redirect more than block. But in reality, it's just the person that has the will, not necessarily the skill. And they're just coming at you to attack. And in that case, a lot of times a block may be all you get. It's just instinct to get your hands up, protect your head, or to reach out if something's coming down. So we try to work that into our drills at times. If I can get any indication, as soon as I can, I'm going to switch to my double arm control or my blocks. But it may just be swinging angle one, say, and I end up here, okay? Or it could be that I'm stabbed or cut, okay? He may stab me, and on the second or third when I realize I'm being stabbed, and now I can start getting into what I need to do. So with a surprise attack, the concept of the mindset is very important. We have to have that mindset that we may get cut, but we're not going to stop because of that. No matter how severe, we're going to keep fighting. Attitude and mindset will overcome most technique. But as far as technique, the same principles apply. I need to get that blade off of me, and I need to control that weapon-bearing limb and attack. Again, if there's an opportunity to get away, to get to an improvised weapon or run, then I should do that. But there are time and a place when that just isn't an option. And in that case, I want to apply the same principles. Nice. And then your eyes come around. Alright, go ahead.
Gun comes out first.
Yep.
Imagine that you have a knife and the opponent is going to you with a gun. What you are going to do?
Okay. Well, against the gun, having a knife is only an advantage if I'm very close. Obviously, if we have a distance, the projectile weapon has the advantage. But in a structure of some sort, or any place I can set up an ambush, I can take that, have a tactical advantage by having that ambush and having that close quarters situation. In that type of situation, I would want to use the environment, the structure, to set up my ambush. And the best way to do that is to use a corner. I don't know how the audio would be back here, but I would want to set up on a corner where my adversary comes past that and I'm ready to attack. And I want to channelize the area. I want it to be as narrow as possible so the person can't come wide around that corner and see me. So if my partner has a training gun here, and for safety I recommend you use training guns whenever possible. If I'm set up on this corner and he comes around wide, very wide away from me, I have to cover a lot of distance and I can be shot a lot easier. But if I have a channelized area where he has to come through a narrow hallway, I have a much better chance of being able to close quickly against him. So I want to set up where nothing is leading the point of that corner except my eye. My eye should be the first thing around that corner. He shouldn't be able to see my hand or my foot, anything beyond that corner except my eye. That's going to give me the best chance of seeing him before he sees me. So now I'll have that advantage of the initiative. Okay? So as I set up here on this corner, I'm going to be as close to it as possible because I have to control this gun. I want to lead with just my eye on this corner, and I'm looking for anything to come past that. As he walks forward, if I see that gun, that's my opportunity to come in and attack, the jam. Okay? So again, as he comes around, if I can jam this and attack, I'm going to have the best advantage to use the knife against the gun. And we keep it simple. Aggressiveness, attacking those targets, driving forward. I give you what you want. Ain't working. Oh, muzzle off of me.
Okay.
Okay. At the same time, I step around and spin off. Drive in and come around this way so you can see I get the gun. And the gun, again, I'm going to attack. Attack. As soon as I can, I'm going to disarm the gun. Step away, tap, rack. Here, we're talking. Do whatever you want, boom. I'll give you anything you want. Alright, come on around this way. It's a show. Hit with the gun. Rip it out.
Imagine that there is an attack with a knife or gun on you from the back side. What you will do? Is there any difference in your actions in both situations? If so, can you demonstrate it?
Yes, there's definitely a difference. Some of the principles are the same as well. With a knife, it doesn't run out of bullets, and I can't jam it from working. But I have to keep that blade off of my body. So distance is my friend in the beginning of the fight. I want to be very far or very close. With a firearm, I don't want that distance. I have to be very, very far or very close. So if I'm at a little bit of a distance and I can run, zigzag away from a gun, that's an option. It may not be ideal, but it's definitely better than getting shot. But I can't stay at a 8-foot range against the gun. I'll be shot. So with the gun, I have to redirect that muzzle right away. I want them to get close to me. I want to be more passive, and if they're not shooting, then there's still room to negotiate. I can talk to them. I can be passive and get them to come close to me, which is going to allow me to disarm that gun. Some of the similarities, I do want to stick to the weapon in both situations. As soon as I can redirect the muzzle of the firearm, I want to glue to that gun and attack. And then I can work, a disarm after I've attacked the person. Depending on the situation, sometimes you can go right to a disarm. Same way with a knife. I want to, after I've got that initial redirection of the blade off of me, I want to glue to that weapon, and then I want to attack. So some principles are the same, but it is different as well. Yes, for redirecting the muzzle, as he points the gun at me, again, I want to be passive. I want to be a good victim so that he feels empowered to get close to me. So again, if let's say he has the gun in my back, same situation, he's asking for money, maybe he's grabbing my shoulder, okay, again, just like the knife, if I can give him the money, then that's what I'll do. But the principles do apply pretty much the same here. I need to get that gun off of my body where before I had to get the blade off of my body. So I'm being a good victim, my hands are up, I'm being submissive, and I'm going to give him what he wants. When I see that opportunity, again, I'm going to sweep down and redirect that muzzle right away off of my body. Now again, I need to glue to this weapon. Glue to that weapon-bearing limb and grab the firearm itself as soon as I can. If I end up here at first, that's fine, but I want to shift. I want to shift my grip to the handgun as soon as possible, because this is probably going to fire. If his finger were on the trigger and it's safe, depending on the direction, I may also yank it to get it to fire, because now the gun won't cycle and he has to work the action to make it fire again. So even if he were to get it away, I have a split second to close. Once I get this in close, again, the same principles apply. I'll glue to him and I'll attack however I can. If it's with headbutts, if I were to let go for a minute, an elbow, and then I'm going to work that leverage-based disarm, and I want to now do my immediate action drill to get this gun up and running. If he comes at me, I can pistol punch if the gun won't work, or I can always transfer to my own firearm. So in that particular case, the principles are the same, but generally, knife versus gun, there are some differences. I give you what you want. Ain't working. Boom, muzzle off of me.
Okay.
Okay. At the same time, I step around and spin off. Drive in, and come around this way, so you can see the gun. In the gun, again, I'm going to attack. As soon as I can. I'm going to disarm the gun. Step away, tap, rack. Here we're talking. Do whatever you want, boom. I'll give you anything you want. Alright, come on around this way. It's a show. Hit with the gun. Rip it out.
The same situation, but you have a knife in your pocket. What you will do?
If I'm in that similar situation here, he's got the gun. The only difference is now, depending on how fast you can access your knife, you could go to that. If you carry a fixed blade and you train it, that can be very quick. Where I'm at in this part of the country, it's generally a little safer to carry the folder for legal issues, but those can be accessed very quickly as well, depending on your folder. If you have the wave feature on your knife, you can use that, or you can get the knife out and use it as an impact tool. So if I'm in this position and the knife is on my body somewhere, again, same principles, good victim, redirect the gun and be prepared for it to go off. I want to glue to the gun again, but now my attack, instead of just striking him with my empty hand tools, which they may be the fastest thing still, if and only if I'm smooth and quick on my draw of my knife, then I can resort to the knife. So as I'm in this position, maybe I've given him a quick strike, I reach down, I get my knife out, and now I can attack much more effectively and with the blade than just using an elbow. So I can attack that throat as I go to the disarm, and again, I can still use my hand and the knife in this situation to do what I need to do. Obviously, I'd create more distance, but because of the camera, we're kind of close here. And my hands are down. Boom, gun goes off. I get in here, going around this way. I'm struggling here. I start reaching for something. Boom, man, I'm talking, looking for the gun. Boom, gun goes off. I get a hold of this here, come around this way. Now this time, if I get a quick draw in, maybe I can use that.
Gotcha.
Maybe I can use that. But I gotta be talking. Hold this arms. Get a hold of the gun.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine that you have both a knife and gun, and the opponent has nothing. But of course he can pick up a stone or stick and attack you. What you are going to do?
Well, you have to have the legal justification. So, if the person were much larger than you, they have very highly skilled, you still have to have that legal justification that they have the means of killing you, whether it's their size and strength or whatever it might be, their skill. They have the opportunity to kill you, and you feel in jeopardy for your life. So if they have the skill, but they haven't closed that distance yet, I can't shoot them from, a couple blocks away because they're yelling they're going to kill me. I have to wait until they're, at a distance where they now have the opportunity to use deadly force. So oftentimes a gunfight doesn't start out with guns. There may only be one gun in the fight. We may be in just a fist fight or a hand-to-hand fight. But it's a deadly criminal violence rather than just a grudge match or hierarchical type of thing. So if that's the situation, you can put the training gun down. My partner is in here and we're into a fight already. I may be in a situation where I'm tied up with him and we're striking in some way. We're hitting. Maybe he's larger, stronger. Maybe I'm injured and he could now take the advantage and kill me. If I just go for my gun right from here, he has equal access to that. Now he has a hold of it as well. And I haven't really created a situation where I can win this fight. I've made it worse for myself. Sometimes the knife can be better in that circumstance, depending on how fast you can get it out, because it is much harder for him to redirect and control. If I can get my knife out right away, then this is hard for him to contain compared to my gun. All he has to do with the gun is redirect the muzzle. With the blade, it's much harder. So that is an option. But if I want to access my gun, then I need to have some skills to do that. So if my partner's here, and I can get behind him, then I can access my firearm without him also having access. So we use a lot of clinch techniques to do that. I can pull around to here, get to his back, and now I can access while I push him away. He has to turn around, come back toward me in order to get that gun off of me. If I'm in a situation where maybe I'm here and my partner has his arm, if I can do an arm drag, I can pull this across, arm drag him. Now again, I can get to the back, shove, and I can draw my firearm with safety without him having that equal access to it. There is a time where I can just shove him away. If I'm in this position, maybe we're fighting, if I could just push him back away from my gun hand, draw my gun, and now I can shoot from close quarters here. You have to watch your arm, obviously. It will be back, and the angles will be down into the legs and hips. You can also do a contact shot if necessary, where I put my thumb over the slide, jam it into him, and fire. Now at that point the gun won't cycle. I'll have to rack it to get it to work again, but that is also an option. Yeah, I'm just going to step back. So again, I can step back and fire from there. Come on into like a clench almost. I'm going to have this forearm crossed and my gun back to here. The I get, the farther my gun gets the guy. So as close as I get, the gun gets farther and farther away. Yeah, so the gun's still about the same position, right, but my body's getting more and more away. The other one I do is here, so if you're grabbing my gun, I can rip this away. I can elbow, I can elbow, I can pistol punch, I can pistol punch, I can fire, rack and fire again. Okay. I come in here, elbow, elbow, pistol punch, fire, rack, fire. Again, grab my knife hand. Okay. So I got strikes, up through here, cross, again, keep hold up tight, lever it over, out through here. Threw it up, you got a hold of it. Boom, 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 boom. Lever it out. My high line, somehow stop my knife. Again, I can hit. What I'm going to do is take my elbow up and down. Switch positions.
Next situation is, you have a gun in your hands and the opponent has a knife. How you will act?
If I have a gun and he has a knife, obviously if I'm at distance, I can shoot. But people need to understand what that distance is. People can close the distance very rapidly. And, I always ask my students, what happens to people when they get hit with handgun caliber rounds? Or I should say, what do they do when they get hit with handgun caliber rounds? It's kind of a trick question because I always want to feed into their brain that they do whatever they were doing before they got hit with handgun caliber rounds. Just like with our strikes, we don't want to expect one shot to stop the person. It's going to take multiple shots in order to stop the person, especially with a handgun. So I want to start shooting before they are in contact distance if the person is charging me. I'm justified in shooting far before we get to that contact distance. If we're already in this close range, it doesn't do me any good to shoot him while he's stabbing me. Okay, just stab, I'm shooting, we both die. It's no one won there. So when I get to this close range, I need to deal with this knife before I just fire away. I can't just move back and shoot and deal with that, especially if he's charging me or he's very close. So we can use the same technique we were doing with our empty hand with the gun. So as he comes from an angle here, I can still use this block, redirect him, and fire from there, if possible, if necessary. If he were coming from, let's say, a backhand angle, same concepts apply. I can still use that block to keep him off of me, redirect. If he's charging, I'll sidestep with that, and that will break distance, give me that opportunity. The other thing I can do that's very simple is simply run away while I'm shooting him. Move away. If the distance is far enough, I wouldn't want to extend my hand here because he can cut it. He can reach my hand. I could bring it back here, and as I'm moving away, I can still shoot as I'm firing. So if he's here, face this way toward me. If he's on the angle here and he comes toward me, I can move back as I'm firing or switching the gun to the other hand. But keeping the gun away as I move away. So those are a couple options. Again, if he's at distance, I want to fire before he gets to contact distance. If he's already in contact distance, I have to deal with the knife first, to redirect it off my body before I fire. But if I have a little bit of gap and some space, I can always move while I'm shooting. If I come out here, go ahead, keep coming. We stab each other. Slow again. Fast.
You want slow?
Yeah. Same thing.
It is a very rare situation when person hold the gun in hands at the moment of attacking. Normally it is in the holster or pocket or on a belt. How you will act? How you will take it out and protect yourself?
That's an interesting one because that's probably how it's going to go. I'm going to have my gun in a holster, pocket, wherever I carry it, and the person with the knife is going to launch their attack from close distance. So they have the advantage of initiative and they already have their weapon in their hand. To make up for that initiative, I have to be able to deal with this knife with my empty hands in order to have time to access this without getting cut up. Again, if I just stand here and try to draw, let's switch sides here. My partner is stabbing away, and I just stand here and draw. I'm going to get stabbed while I'm drawing, and I may die before I ever get that gun out. So I have to deal with the knife first. And again, it goes right back to what we had before. If I really see it coming, if it was a little bit of distance, go ahead, and I can blast him here, then that's what I'll do. And I may be able to shove him off enough to get that gap, start running and draw on the move. If I can get away to draw on the move, then that's what I'll do. If he's charging me, again, I'll have to redirect and get out of that line as he's coming through and get this off the line. If he's coming hard and fast, sometimes that one redirection will allow me the time to then draw my firearm. Because he's through, he's still moving, he has to stop, turn around, find me again, and come back. So oftentimes just that simple movement here, getting off the line, and then drawing will allow me to do that. Other times I may actually get to my control position first and then draw from a position of advantage. So let's say let's move around this side. If he were to come again and I go to my double arm block here, can pin that down and get to the outside, now I got that 2-on-1. Okay, I can let go of this for a split second. Now he may switch hands, I got to be aware of that. But I can let go of this for a split second, draw my gun, and get that contact shot to the face or down through the hips here, whatever it happens to be. But this is a lot better than an elbow to the face, a lot more effective. So it depends on the situation where you're at. If I'm in this clinch position, maybe I've stopped the knife and I've come to here, this reference point, then again, this is where we try to go to the back. I'll get my knee in here, pop this over my head, shove him away, and then I'll draw. Okay? And we work all that sort of thing in our weapons accessing program, for getting the gun into the fight after the fight's already begun. And I come in, get into a position, I'm hitting from here, and now I need to access my gun. If I do it right in front of you, you go ahead and grab my gun as well, grab my wrist. Now I can't get the gun out or let go. When I pull out, you grab the gun itself. Now we're gonna fight here. So there's things I can do from there. If you grab my gun, I can always work ripping that out.
Yeah.
If you're grabbing my wrist, I can always work a duck under, pop under, pop that out.
There we go.
Sucker punch. I get into a position, wherever it might be, I want to keep you away while I go to do this. So control that hand, hook here. Now I can drive. Preferably, I like to hook here. I need more leverage. Driving on my hips, which prevents you from stopping me from accessing my gun. And again, if I go to access my gun, now you can jam it.
Right.
No good. So what I can do instead is shuck here. I go, pull you around. Now I'm in this position where I can drive and attack. In this position, shut this off. Now get clear around your back, shove you away, and access. This type of clinch, okay? Now I want to control this, shift it down just a little bit. This will come across, all one motion. Take your back. Now again I can shove to access. If I go for my gun, you got access to my gun. So here, grab this, drop, shove you away. Have them get in position, and I can just shove them away to keep you from reaching my gun. Yeah, perfect, like you're reaching. Now I can fire from here, I can fire up, possibly if I get the angle right, or I can do a contact shot if I need to. I'm actually pressing, covering the gun with my thumb, firing from there, or again from my thumbs. Boom, I end up in here, get an underhook, my position, and now as soon as I'm ready, I'm going to shuck this over, pop out the back, and now I can access my folder, my shots here, up through the groin, sorry about that, back of the spine, got all those. Boom, boom, boom. I just want to demonstrate we're both. I'm going to deal with that first before I shift to the gun. Shit. Shoot that. Oh, sorry. Here, get the shot in. Now I can shift to here. Pop, pop. Pop, pop. Without having to be up. We're sitting here talking. Oh, I jam in here. Get to this position. Get my shots in. Now I can pop this up over my head. Shove you away. Draw. I'm late every time. Let's do it again, just like that. I should be well behind the curve. Okay. I want to be jamming, hitting, attacking. If I'm late, go ahead and reach for your gun nice and slow. Come on out. I may end up hitting and jamming that gun, grabbing the gun itself. Then I'm into my disarm. Yeah. Maybe I'm looking at something over here. You go ahead and draw. They might. I'm always behind the curve. Draw. Again. So nice and slow. Boom. Again.
Nice.
The last question. The attacker has absolute advantage. He has a gun in his hand, he has a knife in the other. You have bare hands, and you don't know what he is going to use. What you are going to do?
If he hasn't drawn anything yet, we're having a conversation and, I think it's going bad. And this is one of the drills we do. We'll do a multiple opponent interview drill. I'll have two partners, one on an angle here and here, and they will have various weapons on their belt, and they can sucker punch me with a punch, they can tackle me, they can draw a gun, they can draw a knife. Generally, we don't have the stick just because it's harder to conceal, but they can use a collapsible baton. And what we'll do in a situation like that is, go ahead and put the knife in your back pocket there. We'll look for, those cues. We're going to be looking for that draw. I'm here at close quarters, and this is getting escalated. I want to be aware of him reaching for a weapon. Now, when he reaches for his gun, go ahead and draw your gun, and I draw my gun, I'm going to be too slow. He already has the initiative. He is going first. So if that's the case, I don't want to just stand here and try to fast draw with him because he has the initiative. I'm reacting to him. This is a more complex motor skill to draw this firearm. So I want to go to a gross motor skill, something simple. As he reaches for anything, knife, gun, whatever it might be, go ahead. I want to attack and as I jam. Okay? If I can jam while it's still in the holster or in his belt, then I'll go ahead and jam that down so it doesn't come out as I'm attacking, hitting, and then I may break off and access my own firearm or continue the fight and try to control his weapon or take it from him. If the gun is already part of the way out, I may end up redirecting it and just knocking it away. It depends on where it's at. A lot of people don't train to shoot from right here. He will want to extend it toward me, and if I can redirect that before it gets to me, I may have a chance to again attack and close. Now, if you go for your knife or your gun at this point while I'm here, I have to be aware that there's a chance that he will, be able to pull this away and shoot me. So I have to understand my own skill at accessing my firearm. If I let go here and I'm slow on accessing, he could step away, rip this away, and now shoot me. I don't want that. So you really have to pick your time. You have to work your draw so that you can do that smoothly. But whether it's a knife or a gun, I want to be aware of that. The other thing that we can do, again, I can have my partner, he can practice drawing either one. He can start with his hand behind his back, and he happens to come out with a knife. I might get stuck the first time, you never know. And then I go off and jam it. Or as he comes with a knife, maybe I end up getting lucky, I catch it on this first shot. But I'm going forward, I'm attacking, and I'm controlling those limbs as I attack. Now, if we have a gun versus gun and he's at a distance, I can't jam that gun away. Even step back just a hair, I can't go ahead and draw. It's going to be too far for me to close rapidly enough to do that. That's where I want to be able to draw by moving off the X. Wherever I'm at's the X, as he goes to draw, I want to move to buy myself time to get that gun out and counter him. Okay? So, when we're at a distance, whenever possible, we try to teach that, and we do that a lot of times with the airsoft. So he'll have an airsoft gun, he'll shoot right to where I'm at, and as he goes, I'm going to move and access as I move. So that's a few of the ideas, against gun, knife, any tool, basically. This is a very bad situation, and honestly, I probably wouldn't attempt to disarm in this situation. What I teach with disarms is, we want that person to be overconfident, we want to be submissive, we want them to feel comfortable bringing this gun close to us and feel like they're in control and in power. If they're keeping this gun back and away, and they're keeping a distance from me, this isn't a good time to disarm. It's just too dangerous for me to attempt that. Now if they start shooting, I have no choice. I either go forward and attack, or I run for it and try to get away. But if they're still talking to me, they're still wanting something, then I want to try to cooperate, give them what they want. If he's got a knife in the other hand, it's going to be hard to accept my wallet, so maybe he'll put it away. But if he has this knife in his other hand, it really makes me think that he's prepared for some kind of grab and he's unlikely to get it close to me. If the gun were extended in my face and for some reason I felt like I had no other choice, he's about to shoot me, this is where I might try some kind of quick, disarm where you're actually just redirecting it right away, bringing it out, and going for it. I don't generally teach that kind of thing because I like my disarming techniques to be principle-based, so they work against a full-size, an AK-47 rifle down to a little .25 caliber Saturday Night Special that has more grip than it does barrel. With those little guns, these quick strips just aren't going to work. Here I have all kind of leverage to pull this thing and turn it around. and I have all that grip against his grip. But if he has a tiny little barrel and a big grip, I'm not going to have much leverage to turn this thing back toward him. So I generally don't teach these fast, that you see on TV of, oh, I'm just going to redirect this thing right around on him, immediately and pop it out, because people resist, they pull it away. I mean, even right there, I didn't go full power, but he held it, and it makes it hard to get it out. So this might be one situation where that would actually work, where you might have to do something quick just to get that gun away. But if you try to get a hold of, redirect like I normally do, get a hold of this gun and start attacking him, I'm dealing with that knife now, I'm getting stuck. And yes, I would try to adapt the best I could. If he's coming in, use the arm, do something to get this out and try to get get the gun. And of course, I'd want to attack him as well. I got to understand that I can never win the fight just by blocking, being defensive. I need to be attacking however I could. But I'm probably going to be getting cut up until I can get this gun away, get some distance, and understand how to shoot from contact distance or deal with the knife empty hands. Super bad situation, bad scenario. Again, I would say that you're probably not going to attempt to disarm at that point. You're going to cooperate with them until you have a better opportunity for something.